It's late at night. You're sitting in front of your computer gaming, feeling pretty good about yourself. Maybe you're mid-match in some casual shooter, snacking, totally immersed. Then bam, your screen glitches, the lights flicker, and suddenly you're no longer in your room. Nope, you've been isekai'd straight into a horror game. By the time you regain consciousness, you blink and find yourself standing in a dimly lit corridor inside what looks like the worst maintained mansion in history. The walls are covered in peeling wallpaper, the air is thick with dust, and, oh yeah, that unmistakable scent of rotting flesh. Welcome to the Spencer Mansion. That's right, you're in Resident Evil, and if you're not what we'd call an NPC, you aren't the protagonist either. All you can hear is a creepy silence, the kind that tells you something is watching, waiting. You turn a corner and see something, someone. No, definitely not someone anymore. The poor soul in front of you has skin like overcooked chicken left in the fridge for a week, milky white eyes, and a jaw that unhinges way too much for comfort. It hasn't seen you yet, it's just standing there menacingly. But no need to panic yet, you've played Resident Evil. You know what to do. Just grab a gun, aim for the head, and oh, no bullets. Why? Because this game loves handing you ammo just like your boss approving a sick day. Technically possible, but don't count on it when you actually need it. With that in mind, it's better to not stay around for too long, or you'll soon be this zombie's next meal. You start to think about your next move when the window shatters, and in come the zombie dogs. Definitely not a man's best friend, but more like a man's most immediate source of trauma. The escape plan? Run. Slam through the first door you see and hope it leads to freedom. But this is Resident Evil, and doors are a luxury, not a right. Which means that you might have to solve a puzzle to open it, or maybe find some key with a specific shape. But looks like you're in luck because this one opens. You're now in a room just as poorly lit as the last one. But at least those zombie dogs are no longer an issue, except you're not out of trouble, as you hear something crawling on the ceiling. Oh no, it's a licker. If zombies were bad, these things are worse. They're blind, but if you so much as breathe wrong, they'll pounce on you with all the grace of a caffeinated house cat. You freeze, trying to hold your breath, and just as you think you might make it out alive, bam! You accidentally kick an empty can on the floor. The licker's head snaps in your direction, and now you're officially screwed. So far, your survival time has been about 10 minutes, if you're lucky. But hey, maybe outside will be better. You sprint for the exit, heart pounding, finally pushing open the front doors, making it outside, gulping in fresh air, except wait, this air isn't fresh. It's thick, heavy, and somehow smells like a mix of burnt metal and regret. Then you notice the sky. Not blue, not black, just gray. Ash is falling like it's Christmas, but instead of snowflakes, it's the remnants of whatever nightmare exists beyond the mist. And that's when you realize you're not in Raccoon City anymore. Welcome to Silent Hill. Good news is, you're alone for now, at least until the siren wails. Shapes start shifting in the fog. At first they look human, then you see the way they move, jerky, unnatural, like marionettes being dragged by invisible strings. Their heads twitch, their limbs dangle, and that's when it hits you. They're not walking towards you, they're stumbling like they were never meant to move in the first place. You don't wait, you run. But Silent Hill isn't kind to runners. The alleys twist and change, turning familiar streets into dead ends. That's when you realize Silent Hill isn't just a town. It's a psychological torture chamber. This place doesn't just send monsters after you, it tailors them to your deepest fears. After running in those smaller alleys, you end up on a street and the creatures seem to have disappeared. However, a deep metallic scrape echoes through the street, the kind of sound you feel in your bones. It drags across the floor, slow and deliberate, like something massive is making its way towards you. And then you see it. First, the outline of something impossibly tall, its frame hulking and unnatural. The dim light barely catches the massive blade it drags behind it, easily the size of a grown man. Then, as it steps forward, you see the helmet. No face, no eyes, just a massive rusted pyramid of metal that makes it unclear if anything human is underneath. Pyramid Head doesn't charge. He doesn't need to. He moves with the weight of something inevitable, something that knows you won't escape. Which means that if you don't die here, the psychological impact will be enough to make you wish that sword got the best of you. Congratulations, your survival time has improved. You've been running around for a good hour before you're about to meet your end. But your survival instinct kicks in and you sprint toward the nearest building with a flickering neon sign above its door. You can't make out what it says, but at this point, who cares? It's the only structure that isn't actively dissolving into a hellscape. You throw yourself inside, slamming the door shut behind you. That's when you see it. It's so terrifying, so paralyzing, that your brain completely short-circuits. Your breath catches in your throat, your hands start to tremble. It's a CTA, a looming, unstoppable force demanding one thing, your subscription. It's right there, staring you down, waiting. The only way to make it disappear? Click. One little tap, and you're free. Anyway, once inside, you shut the door and the thick fog fades. The red sky disappears, and in front of you, glowing neon lights flicker against the dark. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The smell of grease, expired pizza, and broken childhood dreams fill your nose as you glance around. Tables with crumpled party hats, a dimly lit stage, and a mascot so cursed-looking it makes taxidermy projects seem lifelike. And then, a voice crackles from an intercom nearby. Hey there, welcome to your first night at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Haha, listen, nothing weird happens here at night, but just in case, make sure to check the security cameras and keep an eye on the animatronics. They, like to move around a little. What? You whip around half expecting some sweaty manager to pop out and tell you this is all some sick joke. But no, you're alone. Alone except for the 4 lifeless animatronics on stage. They're just props, you tell yourself, just lifeless, old animatronics. And then one of them twitches. Nope. You bolt to the security office because at this point it's either sit in there or run straight into Freddy's cold, dead embrace. And you know how that ends. The little security room is cramped, with a flickering monitor to show grainy black and white security footage. You flip through the cameras, heart pounding. Freddy is still on stage. Bonnie is gone. A sickening clunk echoes from the hallway. You glance at the camera feed. Bonnie is standing just outside the door, staring directly into the camera like you just insulted his mother. You slam the door shut, panting. The power drains slightly. You glance at the percentage, already at 50%, and it's only 2 a.m. The intercom crackles again. Oh, and one last thing. Try to conserve power, cause if it runs out, well, let's just say you don't want to meet Freddy in the dark. Good luck. Oh, you're so dead. Which this time took a couple of hours. Looks like you're improving. Chico is gone now too, and you swear you just heard a laugh echo down the hallway. The power ticks down, your anxiety spikes, and suddenly you realize this isn't just about surviving until morning. It's about delaying the inevitable, and just when you think you might make it, the power dies. A jingle plays, 2 glowing eyes shine in the doorway, and the last thing you hear before everything goes black is Freddy Fazbear's awful, awful laugh. You're now in pitch darkness. You're closing your eyes, wondering when those animatronics are about to jump on you, but instead you open your eyes again. The cold, artificial glow of the pizzeria is gone, replaced by the flickering of the emergency lights. Looks like you were saved by the bell, but don't relax just yet. You're in for round 4. As you look around, you smell the air is thick, stale, and filled with the distant sound of something dripping. Your stomach drops. You recognize this place. You're in Mount Massive Asylum. You turn slowly, trying to get your bearings. The flickering emergency lights barely illuminate the peeling walls, and oh good, a wheelchair still rolling by itself. Fantastic. Either ghosts exist or someone just got dragged away and forgot their ride. You take a hesitant step forward, but your foot squelches in something wet. You don't want to look down, you really don't, but you do. And congratulations, it's a blood puddle, because of course it is. A distant scream echoes through the asylum halls. Nope, nope! You try to leave through the closest door, but guess what? The door isn't open. What a surprise, right? Classic horror game nonsense. So you have no choice but to go deeper into the asylum. And just when you think, okay, maybe I can sneak through this, the game hits you with its most terrifying feature. You are unarmed. That's right, if earlier you had the possibility of finding ammo, you now realize you lost the only weapon you ever had. But it gets worse because there are no bats laying around, no crowbar in your inventory, not even a frying pan to yeet at whatever is lurking in the dark. Just you, a camcorder that you found in your pockets, and a serious lack of upper body strength. But you only have a little time to assess the situation when you hear noise behind you. You whip around and, oh no, there's a man. I'm sorry, did I say a man? I meant to say there's a 7-foot-tall monstrosity with no lips, an exposed ribcage, and eyes locked directly on you. It's Chris Walker, the man built like a refrigerator who loves turning people into human soup. You sprint through the corridors, heart hammering, leaping over desks, shoving through doors, and slamming them shut behind you. Because if Chris Walker catches you, it's game over in the worst possible way. Best case scenario, he grabs you by the neck and pops your head off like a Pez dispenser. Worst case scenario, he rips you in half like a used paper towel with just enough time for you to hear your own spine snap. You manage to lose your opponent slipping through the dimly lit hallways like a rat. You switch from one hiding spot to another, squeezing under desks, hiding inside lockers, holding your breath in the suffocating dark. You've been playing the most terrifying game of hide and seek for 4 hours now. It looks like you beat your personal best. But before you get to celebrate, the footsteps you've been hearing in the hallway stop. The room is dead silent, and just as you start to think, maybe he's gone, you hear, "Little pig." The locker door rips open. You don't even have time to scream before you're lifted clean off the ground and blackout. You gasp, bolting upright. Your hands grab at the floor beneath you. Carpet. You're back in your room. Your monitor is on, your game's still paused, it was all just a dream, right? Then why do you still hear breathing behind you? Hope you enjoyed this descent into absolute terror. On the bright side, if this ever happened to you, at least you'd finally burn off those burger calories with all that panic sprinting. Small wins, right? If you made it through without checking over your shoulder, consider subscribing to the channel. And let us know in the comments which horror game do you think is the most terrifying.